write major scales, if you're lucky enough to write a C major scale, then all you have to do is put the letters down in order, and that will work fine. But what if you had to write something else? For instance, here's a D major scale. Well, the first thing you wanted to do is make sure you write down one of every letter. If you're writing actual in text, you'd write D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, because you have to have one of each letter. But more likely you'd write it on the staff like this. And the way to make sure you don't omit anything is to make sure you put line, space, line, space, line, space, line, space. Now, I'll tell you right now, anything other than the C major scale, we're going to have to add some sharps or flats. So you see how they've left some space in here because they know we've got to put some sharps or flats in there. So is this D major with every note a natural or a white note? Let's listen to it. Well, it doesn't quite sound the same, does it? That's because the half steps are coming in a different place now. So we have to figure out what we can do to this scale to make it fit the pattern of a half step being here and here, between the third and fourth note and the seventh and eighth note. So if I was working this problem, the first thing I would do is make that little inverted V right here to remind me, okay, here's where the half steps go. And then you go back in here and say, all right, D to E, that's supposed to be a whole step. Is D to E a whole step? Well, yes, it is, so that's fine. E to F, that's supposed to be a whole step, but E to F is not a whole step. I need to change this pitch. So in order to make it a whole step, I'll put a sharp in front of that note. So I would draw my sharp right there, and now that's a whole step. 3 to 4 should be a half step, and now that we've made this F sharp to G, it is a half step, so that one's correct. G to A should be a whole step, and it is. A to B should be a whole step, and it is. B to C should be a whole step, but B to C is not a whole step. We have to raise this one, so we'll put a sharp there also. B, C sharp, and then the last one, C sharp to D, should be a half step, and it is, so that one would be correct. D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. When you change the scale from one tonic to a different tonic, that is called transposition, the word you see here. So we just transpose the C major scale to D major, in which we have to have an F sharp and a C sharp. And here's what it looks like with the correct answers there. And here's what it sounds like. Now, when you're working these, you might find it convenient to look at the keyboard like this on this website, Virtual Piano Online Piano, which I've sent you the link, or if you don't remember, you can search for that and find it. It's really easy and really accessible to use. So as I said, D major requires F sharp and C sharp. There's lots of other scales. There's 15 different major scales as they are notated, and all of them use some or many flats or sharps. For instance, E flat major has E flat, it needs an A flat and a B flat, and then another E flat here. Of course, those are the same note. And if you've looked at this whole, half, whole, half, you'd see it fits in that pattern also. Here's B major. It has several sharps. B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B. They all fit into this pattern of whole, half, whole, half, or a half step between 3, 4, and 7 and 8. And they all have that pretty distinctive major key sound that we talked about.